There's 5 seconds left in the game and your team is down by 2 points. Does your athlete want the ball in their hands for that final shot? And that's what we're talking about today. Now, in pressure situations, is your child going to rise or fall to the pressures? Well, Tyrese Haliburton, well, he rose to the occasion. So let's set the scene. You're in Madison Square Garden, New York City, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the Knicks versus the Pacers. And the Knicks are pretty much the favorite to win and move on to the finals. And in Game 1, it pretty much looked like the Knicks were just going to have their way with the Pacers. And while the game was close for most of the night, the Knicks at the end extended their lead to 14 points with less than 3 minutes left in the game. Now, for most fans, including myself, we pretty much thought that the game was over. But something happened. The Pacers went on a 3-point shooting spree while the Knicks struggled just to make a basket. And then all of a sudden, the Knicks were up by just 1 point with 7 seconds left remaining in the game. And you can see and you can feel the mood change of the Knicks players and their fans as the Pacers just kept chipping away at their lead. Now, with 7 seconds remaining in the game, and the Knicks had two free throw shots awarded to them. Now, if they sank both shots, this would just force the Pacers to attempt a 3-point shot just to tie the game. However, the shooter missed his first shot, but then he proceeded to make the second shot. So instead of being up by 3 points, the Knicks were only up by 2 points with 7 seconds remaining in the game. Now this what sets up what I call give me the ball mentality of Tyrese Haliburton. Now Tyrese Haliburton is the Pacers' best star player. So he was passed the ball and he proceeded to dribble and drive down the court. And with 5 seconds, he drove the lane looking for an easy 2-point shot. But then all of a sudden he turns and he pivots and he goes back to the 3-point line. And he attempts to take the winning shot with 1 shot with 2 seconds left in the game. And what occurred next was just simply magic. Tyrese turns around, he fires up a 3-point shot at the buzzer. It hits the back of the hoop. The thing bounces straight up in the air. It looks like almost like 10 feet. Only to come down and swoosh the net. Everyone thought the game was over, and it should have been. But Tyrese's foot touched the line. So instead of being a 3-point shot, it was only a 2. And so they had to go into overtime. And in overtime, the Pacers pretty much took the momentum that they had at the end of the game and carried it into the overtime frame. And the Knicks just could not come up with that basket that they needed. And as a result, the Pacers won the first game, and they went on to win games 2 and 3. The Knicks looked lost and defeated after game 1, and they struggled to find their way to put the Pacers away. The Pacers, with Haliburton leading the way, played with so much confidence and grit, and that they proceeded to go on and win the series 4-2 and reach the finals. And that's the storyline. Now, for young athletes, who wants the ball when a game is on the line? Who wants to be that hitter when there's a runner on second base and you have to drive them home to win or tie the game? Who wants to take that penalty kick in a clutch situation? Now, hello. My name is Brian McSparron. I'm a mental sports performance coach and the owner of Superior Sports Psyche. Now, I'm also a full-time physical education teacher with over 24 years of teaching and coaching experience, and I obtained a specialist degree in physical education and sports studies. Now, I've coached different youth and high school sports teams, from soccer to lacrosse to tennis, cross country, and hockey. And in fact, I coached college hockey for 16 years. Now, when I stepped down from coaching, I wanted to continue helping athletes, but I wanted to use my background as a teacher and a coach to help them achieve their individual goals. Now, as I look back at my coaching career, and no matter if the athlete was 8, 12, 17, or 22 years old, they all struggled with the mental part of sport. So now I focus on helping athletes to understand the relationship of how their thoughts and emotions affect their game, but also how an athlete can use their minds to gain an advantage over their competition. Now, if your athlete is struggling with mental barriers or they're looking for that competitive advantage, then my channel will be for you and for your athlete. So let's get back to today's topic. But first, Please like and subscribe to this video so I know that you enjoy the content, and that will make me more motivated to make more videos to help out you and your athlete. Now, sports is very enjoyable to play, but at the same time, different situations in a game can cause an enormous amount of stress for the athlete. Now, I can imagine Tyrese taking and playing that situation in his mind, taking that shot 1,000 times before it actually happened. Why else would he pass up an easy 2-point shot to trying a low percentage 3-pointer? Because he knew he could make that shot. There was no thinking involved. He just drove that lane, he turned around, went to the 3-point line, and fired up his shot. That is trusting his abilities. And he was going to live with the consequences no matter if he missed or if he made it. And he accepted that. That's confidence. And that's what makes good players great. Great players, they know and believe that they are placed in a situation because they know they can handle the outcome. Now, more importantly, they are not afraid to fail. If your athlete is afraid to fail, they will never rise to the occasion. So how can your youth athlete rise to the occasion? Now, before we answer this question, please take a moment and listen to the different learning options that Superior Sports Psyche has available to help your athletes gain. Thank you for watching this video. Now, I want to take this opportunity to inform you of some learning materials that I have that are available to help you and your athlete on this mental game journey. Now, I was once sitting in your shoes with my 2 boys as they struggled with their own mental game issues when they were young. But luckily they had me, who has the background and the education, to help guide them through that stage of their sporting career. Now, not all athletes have that luxury of knowing that their parents can help them in their mental game struggles. Now, that is why I put together some learning materials to help both you, the parent, and the athlete understand the mental game so that the child can have a positive sporting experience. Now, first, download my free Mental Resilience ebook, which is an assessment tool to help determine what mental game issues might be affecting your athlete. Now, the athlete will score themselves on issues that relate to their confidence, their motivation, anxiety, dwelling on mistakes, and their concentration. Now, once the athlete takes the assessment, it will give them an idea of what areas of the mental game that they are struggling with. Next, if you have an athlete that is younger than 13 years old, then please check out my book, Raising a Resilient Athlete. Now, research shows that by the time an athlete becomes 13 years old, that they look to quit sports. Not because of their skills, but it's because of the pressures to go out there and perform, and that sport is no longer fun. Now, I wrote this book for parents as a guidebook to help you along the way along this youth sports expedition, so you and your athlete can have fulfillment in the game. Now, you can either download an ebook version of them, or you can get a paperback version on Amazon. Then the links for both versions are listed below. Now, lastly, your athlete has the ability to overcome their mental game barriers. They just need the tools to learn how to do it. Now, that is why I developed an online course called The Resilient Athlete. And through a series of 10 modules that includes videos and worksheets, I teach the athlete about the importance of the mental part of sport. And I share tips and strategies to help them so that they can compete with an elite mindset, elite concentration, and elite confidence in their game. Now, a link for the course is listed below. Now, and when you sign up for the Resilient Athlete course, I will send you out the accompanying workbook, which for your athlete to have all the lessons and the worksheets to go along with the program. And finally, if you have any questions related to the mental game, please email me and we can set up a free Zoom call where we can discuss your athlete's game, their goals, and their struggles. And then we can discuss ways to help get your athlete onto the right path to success. Now, all that information is listed in the description below. Now, thank you for your time, and let's get back to the video that you're watching. So how can your athlete rise to the occasion? Now, I teach athletes and parents, and you can do this as well too, okay, is you have to accept the situation that is placed in front of them and accept the role that comes with it. They were placed in that situation, and now it's time for them to shine. Keep the situation in perspective. It's just a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Have them breathe, and this is going to help them to remain calm in that situation. And then have them believe that they are able to trust their abilities. Trust themselves to go out there and perform. And then finally, accept the outcome. Win or lose, reward yourself for taking on that situation knowing that you tried your best. Now, if your athlete can remember these steps, it will help them when they are called upon to deliver in the clutch. Now, parents, you have a big role here, okay? Especially if the result doesn't turn out the way your athlete wants it. So encourage them and support them for taking on that challenge. If your athlete believes and knows that they're not going to be scolded, okay, or criticized if they fail, this will allow them to take on more challenging situations down the line. And remember, these steps above will encourage your athlete so they can rise to the occasion just like Haliburton did. Now, if you like this video, please check out my other videos to help your athlete become a strong mental athlete. And finally, confidence is built, mental strength is trainable, and your athlete deserves both. And thank you for watching, and I would love to hear your comments.